Recently, I received a request to make a quick video about how I tune my toms because they like the way that my drums sound in some of the videos that I've been making. And so this video is called How to Tune the Toms Quick and Easy. If you like that kind of thing, take just a second to subscribe so you can find us again next Tuesday. I've taught well over 1,000 drum lessons to people just like you, and I can show you too. I'm Gabriel, and you're watching the YouTube channel of DrumTipTuesday.com. Okay, now, getting into this thing. Tuning the toms, the final frontier, and the trickiest one. Why? You kind of have to be able to get your sense of pitch together, which leaves us with a real big problem. This drum, tom or tom-tom as the Harvard Dictionary calls it, is by definition a non-pitched instrument. So, how do you tune a non-pitched instrument to be in tune with itself? One that's a sustained sound, like the snare drum, dead, it rings out, but it's not like a pitch. Kick drum, not like a sustained pitch there. Toms, doom, doom, doom. Pitches, right? A word about pitch. These things are, as we established, technically non-pitched. I think a better definition of this, the pitch as it refers to a tom, is that it has too many pitches. It's the overtone series coming off of this thing, these two heads and all their variables, the lugs around the top, all these different points of tension. It's hard to hear, right? And you'd say, well, what's the answer? Well, there's a couple different tricks. First one first. When you're tuning, tap the drum with something soft. That takes out the contact sound, all right? Because the contact sound has a pitch. That whatever's hitting the plastic, hitting the mylar, it has a pitch, right? So hit with the pads of your finger, right? Not the fingernail, pad. Next thing is, try to hear the lowest pitch of all the pitches. You're hearing all these tones come out of this thing. Listen for the lowest one, and you'll be all right. Let's get started. We'll put the key to the side for just a second to establish a nice, even starting point with all the lugs. You say, well, how do you do that without one of those little machines and with a terrible pitch environment for your ears? You let your fingers do it. You let the mechanics, your physical limitations as a human, determine where to start. The machine is consistent here, right? It's this metal, this little plastic sleeve with this screw with this amount of threads going into here. Your fingers are only so strong, all right? They're just as strong on this one as they are on this one, as they are on this one. Use the limitations of your physical strength as a starting point. Get it finger tight, right? Finger tight. About as tight, don't hurt yourself. But before there were these fancy tuning mechanisms, what am I, 51? I think I had my friend remind me. I'm 51 now, and we didn't have that kind of stuff. And I grew up without that, and I can tune just fine. I know that because people seem to really like the way I tune, and that's why we're here, making this video about it. So once you get this thing finger tight, top and bottom, and I got it mostly there before I turned the camera on, just so you wouldn't be here watching me make this awkward motion, right? It's kind of awkward, right? Finger tight. And we should then be starting pretty close to the same pitch all the way around. Another thing, press on it. Make sure that the head's seated. Make sure that you're starting around the same point with the head nice and tucked in the rim nice and firm down on the bearing edge of the drum. There we go. And you just tap around with your mallet, right? Sounds to me like this one's a little lower. Sounds like this one's a little lower. Also, you can hear timbres in it. When one's a little lower, you hear kind of a papery kind of thing going on. I think I just heard some of that. When I hit that lug, make sure that they're all nice and even. The pitch then, the relative pitch will change again. It'll once again be lower. And And this one's still lower than that. Okay, we're getting close to even. Now I'm going to go around it a little bit, put a little bit of tension on it. Try to keep that the same amount of tension, obviously. Always going back to this thing where I make sure that the three elements, drum, rim, and drum head, are nice and they're down as far as they can go, as close as they can go, shifted and adjusted on that, nice and even. Kind of even, but a little bit low for my taste. Another thing about making toms that sound nice and kind of pop out of the mix as a feature, tune a little higher than most guys. You don't have to sky it, you don't have to reef it like marching tenors or anything. All right, anyway, let us get the bottom head going. Actually gonna come down with that one a little bit. All right, remember what I said. You're probably out there, and especially through this tiny little microphone that I have here, hearing like an ocean of pitch. That's normal. When you're in the room with it, it sounds different. There's that pitch. All right. Still think it's a little higher than top. Oh, no. All right. There you go. Good relative. Sorry that took about a million hours there. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. Anyway, so speaking of physical limitations, it's kind of harder to tune the bottom head quite as low as I was tuning the top head because it's a single ply clear and I think it's kind of old. Actually, maybe I should replace this, but it's kind of hard for me when there's nothing wrong with the head other than it has to be a little higher than usual. Like I said, I like to tune a little higher than most people, so that doesn't really bother me. But this is a double ply clear and it'll keep a pitch a little better, a little lower, and it's a bit newer. In case you're wondering, Evans. I like Evans heads. They don't sponsor this video, that's cool. I use something I like and I talk about it. So this is a G2 clear on the top. That means a double ply clear. And the bottom is kind of a generic, I think it might have been a Tama branded Remo head. So single ply clear, double ply clear, single ply clear. This holds a lower pitch better, and that can guide you to where you need to be to set up your tom. So, doesn't sound like much here, but when I mic it all up, put it in a video, everybody seems to like it. That's how you do it, okay? Now, there is one other thing. That's the easy part. The other part takes a little bit of music theory. But before we go on, a question. What drummer has your favorite tuning? I know you used to play in a band with a guitar player who loved the way Carter Beauford tuned his toms. A buddy of mine, another guitar player, always reminded me about that song by Tom Petty that I can't think of right now. Maybe you want to comment below, remind me of what song that is. It's just an incredible snare drum sound. Also, Spin Doctors. I think it's Two Princes. Great snare drum sound on that. You can really hear the ghost strokes. Tony Williams. Two different Tony Williams. There's Tony Williams in the Miles Davis Quintet. Also, Tony Williams Lifetime. Same great drummer. Two completely different approaches to tuning and the instrument. No right or wrong answer here. Just starting a conversation about drum tuning in the comments below. Something that I do often, as a matter of fact, almost all the time. And as a matter of fact, it was kind of hard for me to tune them exactly the same. Because especially it doesn't bother me that the bottom head tends to sit a little better higher because I like to tune my bottom head higher. How much higher? About a minor third. What is that? Boom, boom. That difference between those two notes. Da, da. Get on a piano, a xylophone, a marimba, little keyboard attached to your computer. Find out what a minor third is. Go C to E flat. There you go. You're trying to hear about that difference between the two heads. Once again, the physical limitation is helping you out here in that it's easier to tune this bottom head a little higher, right? So, I remember actually listen to it. And like I said, it's all relative. Your minor third may not be my minor third. To be honest, so many pitches there. It's about there. Aim conservative. If you know minor and major thirds, aim conservative. It's a little lower. It's probably a little lower than you think. Plus, like I said, so many pitches going on. All right. That's how you get that kind of bend effect, that ding, right? Of course, I can't hit it really hard right now or I'll bust this thing out, right? This little microphone. All right, so that's basically how that's done. On larger drums, I make the difference a little bit more, all right? Like a floor tom, perfect fourth. Second floor tom, perfect fifth. Sometimes, and this is easy enough too, if you can't, get it right, you know? Get them close. Default or err on the side of having the bottom head a little higher than the top, and you'll still get that effect, even if you're trying to get them exactly the same. I feel like erring on the side of having the bottom head, the thinner head, a little higher than the top, is always going to get you the best sound, all right? And like I said, it's all relative. A lot of crazy pitches. So, bonus tip here. You're probably noticing that these heads are a little bit old, but they don't appear to have like a devastating amount of marring to them. And that's because of, once again, does not sponsor the video, electric shave. I don't know what they put in this stuff. It says here that it gives you a closer shave and smoother skin. I use it to take the dings out of my clear heads. I mean, and it's like magic. You can take a head, a clear head, that's all beat up, and you rub some of this on it, and when you film it, or like from audience perspective, it looks like brand new, beautiful clear heads. I mean, this stuff even, I even tried it, it takes a little bit of, cleans the cymbal a little bit. So, I mean, electric shave is a great product for drummers. Just don't ever put it on your face. Grow a beard instead. Glad you asked. Coated heads. There's another secret. Magic eraser. Couldn't think of it for a minute. Wet that down. No, not sopping wet, but you know, make it damp. Just enough so that it works, all right? On your snare drum head. It'll clear all that stuff right off of there. And you'll still see right in the center the wear spot, right? But it doesn't seem to matter once you get all the brown spots off of it. 99% of the wear looking effect of having used a drum head, makes it look nasty, is that brown on it. Once you get that off, doesn't seem to matter. It looks really, really nice with just, you know, the sort of natural wear without the dirt. So that's how it's done. And if you want to develop superior hand technique, click the link below this video to get Hands, my free ebook concerning the 3 best exercises for developing fast, clean technique. And remember to like, subscribe, and take a second to check out this playlist. It contains videos about the kind of drums I use, the story behind the cymbals that I got, pretty interesting story, kick drum tuning, and amplification, snare drum tuning, how I tuned that old acrylite that I have back there, and now tom tuning, right here.